Hello. Tonight we look into the lives of the Guthries in I Don't Know Richard.
And Andrews McQualter makes his first foray into feature films with the art house flick Tape to Tape.
But firstly tonight, Asgard. The continental thriller hailing from Greenland, Asgard, which translates as Things Happen When You're Trying to Be Quiet, is the story of Hela, Spectre Isht, a backpacker who travels from one side of the country to another to visit her terminally ill friend. But when she gets there, she finds the house is occupied by someone else, Raymond, played by Gert Kastelfunf, who denies her friend ever lived there. Ist ein bisschen Heiden?
Was garden bad black biswaden vask.
Kushkaiden,lichen Hain, kushkaiden Deiden.
Was banadga, was garden fish, rats barden.
Kushkaiden Eiden, Kieden, Leiden Kieden.
Was garden fish, was garden.
Scheiden in Lieden den Ei an.
Was garden bad fish garden.
Raymond tells Hela she can stay at the house for 3 days, then she must leave. He is suspicious, and Hela is worried not only for her friend, but for herself. Spectre Ish is compelling as the deceptively forceful Hela, while Funf carries the film in his role of the calm yet challenged Raymond. This low-budget feature film proves that Greenland is not just cold, but films are made there too. Katie?
Yes. Well, I thought it was interesting and kind of too bad. The cinematography was quite good for Greenland.
Yes, I rather like the cinematography. I thought that was a strong point of the film. Managed to capture a lot in a few frames, I found.
But too much handheld camera work for my taste.
Oh, Katie! You must get over this! It's a fine film, and I think the handheld camera work manages to add the suspense and the tension, I suppose, that's really essential in this film.
Yes, well, you see, when I hear you speaking about this with such enthusiasm, it's as if we were speaking about two different films. Anyway, I'm going to give it 2.5 stars.
Oh, I thought it was far better than that. I'm giving it 4.
And now to Tape to Tape. This maverick little film intrigues on 1 or 2 levels. Firstly, the main character's surname, Corbeau, means crow in French, and may or may not be an oblique reference to Edgar Allan Poe's poem, The Raven, and to the fact that there is no word for raven in French. Yes. Apart from all that, like art, this film is aimed at those who would take up creatively the challenge that it throws out, like garbage, and not at those who merely retreat into commentary, however ironically exhausted. Jarman.
I didn't like this one, Katie. I found it all a bit minimalistic, a bit contrived, I might say. Sort of erring on the side of tedious. The whole 90 minutes of just tapes and watching him, you know, taping on that one and taping on the next one, and Nancy, oh, she was not an interesting character at all, I didn't find. I didn't think this had a lot of pizzazz to it.
Yes, I take your point. I found it interesting and kind of too bad, but then I always do. Anyway, I'm going to give it 2.5 stars.
Me too, 2.5. Hello, I'm here to discuss God and the spiritual hereafter.
Did I didn't, oh, well, come in.
Hope I'm not disturbing anything.
No, yes, but I'm just doing tapes.
Oh, do you like music?
No, well, I don't really understand music. I just tend to talk and listen. Sometimes I forget to listen. That's my favorite.
What do you tend to talk about?
Well, it's hard, I admit. Well, I suppose you can hear some of it if you think it'll be okay.
Oh, sure. God and the spiritual hereafter can wait a little longer.
That's the second time you said that. Spiritual hereafter.
Oh, does it sound funny?
Maybe, or not that funny.
Finally tonight, the tell-all documentary by aspiring filmmaker Art Later that reveals a family's true feelings about their recently deceased relative. I Don't Know Richard details the lead up to the funeral of Richard Guthrie, as documented by Later, who happens to be a friend of Richard's nephew. Curiously, the typical funeral scenes of grieving and depressed widows and despaired friends is absent in this film and is replaced with indifference and flippancy as the family pull together to realise that they didn't really know Richard at all.
This bloke swung out and was clowning around. Next minute he found out he wasn't clowning around, he was drowning around. And I think it was his missus was yelling out to me, because she must have thought I looked like a good swimmer, help, help, he's drowning out there. And the lifesaving guard was went to the toilet or something. He was not, so I took it upon myself to try to save the guy who was just swimming out there. On the way out, I was thinking to myself, Ronnie, Richard is a much better swimmer than I. He's a pretty good swimmer, and I just started thinking about what a good swimmer Richard was, and turned out the lifeguard got there just before I could anyway, so I was no point. But I remember thinking that day Richard might have got there about the same time as the lifeguard, given that he was just that bit better swimmer than I.
Katie.
Yes, well, I found this film interesting and kind of too bad. But apart from that, I found that it did strike a rather, and I think this might be the case with a lot of viewers, who find that it rings a bell with them in terms of them starting to wonder at some point during the film, which is kind of distracting as well, that they might start wondering if they knew Richard.
I found that, wondering that myself a lot of the way through.
So consequently, I found I missed the second half of the film because I was so preoccupied, wondering whether I knew Richard or, and I'm not sure whether I knew him or, I fancy I did know someone called Richard once, but I don't know if it's the same Richard.
Yes, that was slightly distracting because there was somebody in there, I'm sure I know. But that's what gives the film its realism, you know, it's Australianness. It's so...
Did I mention the handheld camera?
No, but I imagine you would like to. That was a problem for you probably.
Yeah.
Yes. See, I think that adds to the realism of the film.
Well, anyway.
I found this an intriguing piece of cinema, but I can't say it really has a message. It's kind of for those who are interested in it, and if you're not, don't watch it.
Yes. As they might have said at one point, something about the Richardness, and I suppose you either get it or you don't.
Yes, exactly. What? How many stars?
2.5 for me.
Oh, I rather like this one. I'm going to give it 3.5. Yeah, I've known him for about 5-6 years. Ever since I married Barry. They were best friends all through primary school, I think. So it's really sad that he's died. But the upside is I get to try out some of my cooking. So I wanted to make something really nice. I was looking in Donna Hay Entertainment magazine, and I found this really nice recipe for mint and mustard roast lamb with caramelised onion, creamy potato stacks. And I thought that would be really nice, like a really nice way to say goodbye to this person who had a great life. So I'm going to make everybody some of these. They should be really good. I've been doing a lot of cooking recently. I broke a plate the other day, but that doesn't matter because we got plenty of plates. And what's one plate to somebody's life? I mean, he's died. It's so sad. I'll really miss Darren. It's so sad that he died.
Darren's not dead.
Who's dead then?
His brother Richard.
Richard? Oh. Oh, well, I don't know Richard. That's all for this week. Next week we'll have the sequel to The Secret River, in the river that was secret. But for now, good night.
And good night from me.
So what movie do you think we should watch tonight?
Oh, I thought we'd watch Plan 9 from Outer Space. It's your favourite one.
But it's not actually my favourite. I don't really.
Yeah, it is your favourite.
Okay, we'll watch that one.